Hey, what's up, my Tom fans? Hey, so today I'm going to be doing a reaction to The Machine by Tom MacDonald. This is a request that came out of the comments section. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and here we go.
I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Why the hell can't I just be American without getting political? The system gon'
Oh,
suppress us
man.
all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel
Dang, he's starting off strong, man. He's saying he's not a Democrat, he's not or he's not a liberal, a conservative. He just wants to live his life. Oh, dang, wow.
without getting political. The system gon' suppress us all, they don't care about the cost. How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel culture, Nazi.
You know what's crazy is that it doesn't really matter what side of the coin you're on, you're being controlled anyway. So, I mean, what he said actually makes sense. He just wants to live his life without getting political. And I think that's where a lot of us are. I think the extremes only come by a few people, and then, we take that entire group of people because of the 5% of people that, are not using common sense on both sides of the realm. We lump them all together and we throw a grenade at them, and it's really easy to destroy them. So, in a way, I can see where he's coming from that, especially knowing a little bit more about Tom in general, and knowing and learning about him, and he's growing on me. Let's just call it what it is. He's growing on me a little bit. I'm getting to know him through his music, and one of the things that I'm getting to know is that he doesn't care if you're, left or if you're right. He just doesn't like the extreme. The look at this. He wants to just live his life in peace. And I think that's what a lot of us want.
How's this a democracy when we got communists in charge? Cancel culture, Nazis, all they're missing is the swastikas. Honestly, this is a psychological holocaust, pumping.
Dang, okay. So he's referencing the swastikas, and then he said this is a psychological holocaust. So, I mean, think about what exactly the Holocaust was. I mean, you got rid of an entire group of people, and he's talking about cancel culture. Now, as a liberal myself, I don't like the idea of cancel culture. In fact, in a way, I don't like it. And here's why. One, it's divisive. Two, it implies that whatever you're canceling, shouldn't exist. And if we're sitting here saying that certain companies shouldn't exist, or that certain people shouldn't exist, that would imply that, you're saying that that you wish they were dead, or that you want a bunch of people to lose their jobs if you're, canceling a certain business, or if you're canceling a certain thing. Um, I know, like, there was a big old thing and it's on both sides of the coin, right? It's on both the Democrats and it's on the conservatives. It's on both sides. It doesn't really matter what side you're on. Both sides cancel things. Think about the Bud Light scandal. Or not the scandal, but the Bud Light fiasco. People flipped out when they put a rainbow flag on Bud Light. Think about all the other things that are getting canceled on both sides. It's divisive. If you don't want to drink Bud Light, just don't drink it. Shouldn't be drinking anyway. It leads to addiction, but that's besides the point. Uh, I can see where he's going with this, though. I personally don't care for cancel culture. I think it's very, very dumb. Yeah, a liberal thinks cancel culture is dumb.
Propaganda through the screen and straight into your brain. You ain't on a plantation, but you definitely still a slave. Race theory is indoctrination.
Dang, we're not on a plantation, but we definitely are a slave. Think about what we're surrounded by. We're surrounded by our phones. We're surrounded by technology. And especially here in America, we're incredibly surrounded by technology. If you go to another country that doesn't have as big of a electronic footprint, you'll find that the family values, the family life matters a whole lot more. You know, it's not just their immediate family, it's their extended family that also get involved in the day-to-day life. And technology, in a way, technology is a curse, a gift because a lot of things could be done with technology, and a curse because if it's used incorrectly, it could actually cause more division and more harm to our life.
But you definitely still a slave. Race theory is indoctrinating children. Tell blacks they're disadvantaged, tell whites they got white privilege. What a brilliant way to reinforce division. If whites believe they have it easy, they will never help you fight the system. And now they burn in.
Dang, dang, he's not entirely wrong in that statement. So I will tell you, um, this is and so here's where I land on this. I land on the side of believing our police officers have the best interest for us. I believe that not all cops are bad. You know, when the left, I'm going to use quotation marks because people will lump me into the left. When it started going towards like the ACAB, all cops are bastards, and Antifa, broke off because I don't believe all cops are bastards. And I also don't like Antifa because they're violent. And a lot of times they're the ones who are starting fires in our cities. And they're the ones who are, you know, lighting dumpsters on fire in the middle of the street and breaking windows and looting and rioting. And again, not all people who are involved with Antifa are bad because that's a general stereotype, right? But when that idea came about, completely tainted what a liberal was. And that's the thing is with stereotypes is if you take that little piece of what a couple people on this side of the spectrum are doing and you apply it to all the left, then you're including people like me who don't like Antifa, who don't like what they stand for. I don't like ACAB. I would consider myself more in the middle, but just left leaning because I do have liberal ideologies. There are certain things that I think are important, but there's certain things that you guys think are important too. And that's the cool thing about our Constitution. Our Constitution, not just yours, not just mine, our Constitution is you are welcome to have whatever thought you want, whatever opinion you want. You are welcome to get education in order to make educated decisions. I'm able to have freedom of speech. You're able to have freedom of speech. That is the beautiful thing about our Constitution is we have that type of freedom. But things like ACAB, things like Antifa, they limit that freedom by throwing grenades at anybody who opposes them. I'm not lumped in with them. Period. End of story. And I have some people who I've talked to who are involved in Antifa. And the thing is, I try to love a person. So I tried not to let their actions impact how I view them. Because if I take that stereotype and I apply it to that person, I could do more damage that way. And I don't want to do that. I want to actually love people. So sometimes I'll ask them, why get involved in something that's destroying other things? And oftentimes, you know, they'll get mad because I'm asking a question that they think I should know the answer to. But I think it's a valid question. Why are you destroying your own city? Why are you lighting things on fire? What are you trying to accomplish? You're trying to get your voice heard. Okay. Getting your voice heard in a peaceful protest is just as powerful as lighting a dumpster on fire. One leads to jail, the other doesn't. Just saying. But I digress on that. I just wanted to make sure that we are on the same page of where I land, so that way you guys aren't like, liberal. Because the reality is I try to love people on both sides of the coin. It's not about one side or the other. We're all people. We all have families. We all have the same kind of blood running through our veins. We all have oxygen going through our mouths that are helping our heart and our brain work and function. So, with that being said, let's get back into this.
Will never help you fight the system. And now they burn in books in untraditional ways. They just traded newspapers for the digital age. Now the facts can be deleted with no physical flames. They just change the information and the truth gets erased.
Yep.
They
So, like, I would agree with this. One of the things that they've so I live in Oregon, and we have two colleges. One of them is the Ducks, one of them is the Beavers, and they've had this thing called the Civil War going on for several years. And several, I mean probably 10 plus years, 20 plus years, maybe even 30 plus years. And what ended up happening was cancel culture got involved in college sports, and now the Civil War got disbanded. And it's not like it's because of the terminology. Had it been called anything else, they probably wouldn't have tried to touch it or erase it. And, the reason why it was called the Civil War is because think about what the Civil War was. It was America fighting America, with Oregon fighting Oregon. Like, it's not an offensive term. It's literally just a term. It's Civil War. They called it Civil War because they were two rival schools. And, not only that, when you erase history, it's easier for us to make as people to make the same mistakes. When a history is erased, we forget. And if we forget, we're going to make the same exact mistakes that we made in the past. So that's just
and the truth gets erased. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not Republican.
that's very, very true. The system only works if we're afraid because the system is broken. The system is very, very broken. A If you don't vote my way, then you don't matter. That's not what I think, obviously. I just got done explaining that I try to love all people. But that's the world that we live in right now, where extreme voices are dominating the culture, where people are button heads left and right, and it's like, dude, you see the hatred level go from 0 to 100 real quick, and it's like, for what? What's the purpose of hating somebody else because of what they think? We have the same constitution here in the States. We have the same color blood. Doesn't matter if we're here in the United States or if we're in the Middle East. It makes me sad because as a human race, we've gotten so off track, and we think that certain things matter more than people's lives. And it's like, okay, you want to cancel Bud Light, you want to cancel Target, you want to cancel blah 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 blah, whatever the case. Okay, well, the impact of that is people lose their jobs. Yeah, maybe big companies like Target, they take a little hit, but it's what it is. And some of the conversations going back to like the whole Antifa thing, some of the conversations that I've had with people who are in like a part of Antifa is that they don't like big companies. Big companies are what kind of sustain this country. Yeah, we have a lot of small businesses. Big companies, if we drive big companies out by doing things like burning down their buildings, they're not going to stay in Oregon, which means that they're going to go somewhere else, which means those jobs are also going to go somewhere else. And if those jobs go somewhere else, guess what? Now we have hit a recession. And once we hit a recession, it's going to be really hard for you to find a job. I mean, don't get me wrong, most people, especially after the pandemic, there's a lot of people who still haven't gone to work. And I'm just like, dude, how in the world are you not working? Like how have you been able to survive this long? But That's besides the point. I digress. But the system is definitely broken. I will.
Works if we're afraid. I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. Progressive and traditional are hitmen hired to kill the individual. They label people red or blue, divide us, they don't ever help. They want you thinking left or right, so you ain't thinking for yourself. Go ahead and vote, cause both the parties.
They want you thinking left or right, so you don't thinking for yourself. That is the beautiful thing about trying to just love people, is that whether you have a MAGA hat on, you have a Go Biden shirt on, you have a rainbow flag around your neck, that's acting as a cape. You're a person. You're a person. If I label you as something, that something that I'm labeling you as is a stereotype. And that something is ultimately going to lead to me changing how I think about you. Because that's what happens when we put labels on things. I used to have this saying when I was in high school. And I went through a lot of bullying in high school. A lot of bullying. And I used to say, don't put a label on me. I'm not a soup can. I'm not some can in a grocery store that has a label. And when I tell people that I have liberal leaning values, they immediately lump me into the left because of that label. What exactly are liberal leaning values? Well, let's talk about pronouns. Where do you land on pronouns? That's something that causes division. Where do you land on taxing big businesses or people who make $250,000 or more? That's something that causes division. How do you feel about raising the tax on the lower income population? That's something that causes division. All of these things are right and left because you take the opposite and you apply it. The left believes that the rich should be taxed more. That's what they believe. What do I believe? What I believe is that if you make a lot of money and God provided you money, what are you doing with it? Are you giving back? Are you hoarding all the money to yourself? I mean, scripturally, there's a lot of things that talk of it. There's a lot of things that are talked about. God gives you a surplus, do something with it. Do something good with it. Maybe help people. He's blessed you. Bless others. That's where I stand on that. But I also come at it from a place of just genuinely wanting to love people and respect people. If you have a differing view, you can have your differing view. I don't have any skin in your game. You're entitled to your opinion. I'm entitled to mine. We don't have to agree. But we can't agree to disagree because we're both Americans. We can't agree to disagree because we're both humans. We can't agree to disagree, especially, and here's another thing, being a Christian. Where do you land on that? Because I have a lot of friends who are non-believers. Does that mean I write them off because they're non-believers? Absolutely not. I love them where they're at. Because if I go and slap a Bible across their face, do you really think they're going to be around me much longer? Not at all. So, with that being said, it's literally about loving people. It's about coming to the table, having a conversation, being an adult about it, instead of freaking out when someone disagrees or blocking someone because they disagree. A lot of times, I'm getting some hate in the comments, and um, a lot of the hatred is going to like the hell for review. So I respond, but I just kind of leave it there. And usually I say things like, "Thank you." Thank you for your thoughts. Because I'm genuine. I'm genuine when I say that. Thank you for your thoughts in your disagreement. Thank you for your thoughts you thinking that I shouldn't react to any more Tom videos when I'm reacting to another one right now. Thank you for your thoughts. Just because you have thoughts doesn't mean that I agree. I respect your thoughts, but at the end of the day, it's freedom of speech. So I believe in freedom of speech. I believe that if you guys don't like me, you guys don't like me. There's not much I can do about that. But if you do like me, cool. At the end of the day, I'm not gonna look at you any different because we're human.
They want you thinking left or right, so you ain't thinking for yourself. Go ahead and vote, cause both the parties are the same side. Two teams, one coach, controlled by the same guys. Left wing, right wing, both help the same bird fly. Brainwashing everybody at the same time. The internet was once a place that we could get our facts from. Now it's been monopolized, it's Google or it's Amazon. Who fact checking the fact checkers? I can answer that one. The people who control the narratives through the platforms. Let me break this down for you, simple as I can, Kate. They use social conditioning to put you in the rat race. It doesn't matter if you're first or third or if you're last place, you're still a rat, and they're the cats who kill you so you can't escape. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us, and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us. Having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid. I am not Republican, I am not a liberal. I am just a man who knows they're scared of a nation that's thinking critical. They kill us or they lock us up for nothing like we're criminals. Divide us cause they know that unified we are invincible. Questioning the government's agenda is controversial, but promoting guns and liquor in our music is commercial. They're confusing us with pronouns they made up to make us triggered. You can call me what you want, but just don't call me late for dinner. School teaches you to learn and never.
I know where he stands, and that's okay. That's okay. I have to laugh at the "you can call me what you want, but don't call me late for dinner" because my wife says that all the time. And see, that's one of those divisive topics, right? And he used a little bit of humor in order to talk about it. You can call me what you want, but just don't call me late for dinner. I love that. Oh, Tom. He's really growing on me.
Don't call me late for dinner. School teaches you to learn and never teaches you to think. So you absorb misinformation, then you practice what they preach. You ain't free, can't you see that's how they want you to act? That's called conforming to the norm. You don't need freedom for that. I'm not Republican or liberal or left-wing or right-leaning. I took the red pills because that's who's fighting for my freedoms. And you don't need to choose to be accepted. They both fake teams. Evil runs the world.
See, here's the other thing. I remember, and this is a little bit like about my past, okay? I remember it was so anti, and this is how I know it's a thing, and this is how I know that there are extremes because I used to be in that extreme category. I used to when I was a teenager because I had all my friends were in the LGBT community, all the people that had to watch get hurt. My own church trauma, it came from people who waved the red flag. It came from people who took the red pill. And so naturally, I fought back against it because I was hurt by people. But again, that's stereotype, right? That stereotype. Yeah, you take a few people, a few bad apples in society, and you blame half of society because of a few bad apples. That's not fair. I had to learn that. I had to learn that. I had to think through that. I had to wrestle through that. And so, am I left leaning? Yeah, because there's a few things that I mentioned that I believe personally. I believe in respecting people's pronouns. You guys can agree to disagree with me all you want. You guys can flat out disagree with me. But the reality is, if I'm gonna go and minister to somebody who uses a certain pronoun, and I am bashing them, telling them that they're wrong before they even get a chance to get to know me, how in the world is it that I'm supposed to speak Jesus into their life? I'm not. Because their guard is already up. And I learned that as a kid when people were swinging the Bible in my direction about things that were unrelated. Unrelated. Things that were so minor. How much trauma do we do with our words? How much damage do we do with our words? You don't have to agree with me on that. But I choose, this is my choice, to love that person that society says that I, as a Christian and a pastor, should hate. I'm going to go love that person. Just like Jesus loved the woman at the well. Just like Jesus loved the person who was accused of adultery enough to stand up for her. Just saying. He left the 99 to go after the one who struggled with him, who struggles the most in this current society. It's people who are pushed away from the church. And again, it happens on both sides. I'm not just blaming a certain a couple people. It's on both sides. Both sides of the coin. This is why we have extreme on both sides. Because people have been hurt. People's emotions have been hurt. People have been seeing things that have gone cray cray. I mean, think about it this way. I used the Antifa example earlier. If Antifa destroys a business that's owned by someone who considers themselves in the red camp, that person now has beef with the left because of Antifa. That's what stereotypes do. I'm literally sitting here saying, okay, all of the left will destroy a right's business. And then the rights are going to be launching grenades back at the left. It's super easy to take it from there and be like, oh yeah, I'm going to destroy this entire group of people. What Tom is saying is screw the left and the right, just be people. We're all stuck in the same system that is designed for us to fail, and yet we're killing each other over grenades, killing each other over differences of opinions.
Wing or right leaning, I took the red pills because that's who's fighting for my freedoms. And you don't need to choose to be accepted, they both fake teams. Evil runs the world now like hell ain't got no vacancy. They keep screaming to wake up, but they're all woke, not awake. We know the system has failed us and all the media's fake. I swear the government hates us, having opinions is dangerous. The system built to enslave us only works if we're afraid.
This was a really good video. This was a lot of commentary. If you're still here, you're awesome. With that being said, guys, go ahead and comment what you think I should do next down in the comment section, and I will see you guys later.